Vanessa Kamazzi, and this is Interview 360. Food is the universal language that brings people together. Have you ever wondered what dishes an embassy chef cooks for their ambassador and guests behind closed doors? Eric Moses is the Senior Vice President and Managing Director of Events DC, and he's here to talk about one of the biggest culinary events held in the nation's capital, the Embassy Chef Challenge. Hi, Eric. Nice to see you.
Thanks for having me.
All right, Eric, so what is the Embassy Chef Challenge?
It is a competition amongst chefs who, as you said in your lead-in, cook for ambassadors from nations all around this world, where they have a unique opportunity to showcase the unique flavors of their country for an audience of DC residents, folks from the diplomatic community, and just foodies of all ages and backgrounds.
If you eat, this event is for you.
Yes, if you like food and you like drink and beverages and you appreciate international culture, you want to do this. We say it's like going to Epcot, but doing it through your stomach as opposed to having to go to Florida.
I like that,
Yeah.
I like that. So this event seems so cool because you get to try so many dishes in one night and without a passport.
Yeah, it's true. And the funny thing about that is we actually do use a passport. We issue you a passport when you come to the event so that you can get it stamped at each of the stations where you sample the food or the beverage.
So why do you think it's so popular?
I think it's a quintessential kind of Washington, D.C. event. Washington, D.C. is home to 190 embassies from all around the world. It's the only place on the planet where you have that concentration and that many embassies in a country is represented in one place. And so it's something that you can only do here. And we think because of that, people are really interested. There's a big uptick, as you know, in Washington, D.C. in our culinary scene. We've been rated one of the best food cities in the country, if not in the world nowadays. And so people are thinking about food and thinking about drinks and bites and sips all of the time.
How many embassies would you say participate on average?
Usually around 30.
Okay. And which countries or what embassies don't participate? You can tell me. Anyone that's, they're like, nope, too scared.
Well, let me say that we would love to have more participation from kind of old Europe, the countries that most of us think of as Americans when we think about European cuisine: Italy, Spain, England, France. We get lots of countries from Central Europe and other parts of Europe. And so, we'd love to have more of that 190 countries that are represented in D.C. send their chefs out to compete.
Yeah, absolutely. Like that could be the goal, to get every single country in one roof here in D.C.
Yeah, we have to find the right building to host all of it. We do it at the convention center, I guess. But
yeah,
yes, that's a problem I'd love to have.
Because this event is actually held at the Ronald Reagan International Trade Center, correct?
Correct,
Yeah.
correct.
So if the U.S. then were to participate, would it be like the White House chef?
I think so. And we're going to make that invitation. If you don't mind me using your idea, we're going to send something to the White House chef and ask him to represent our country.
Yeah, I mean, she's amazing, and I know actually the Philippine embassy and Philippine food in general has been having a moment, and so she could bring her influence for that.
Yeah, the Philippines has been on a tear in our event the last couple of years, and in fact this past year won both the Judge's Choice and the People's Choice first place award. So yes, Filipino cuisine is hot.
Who are the judges? I imagine this has to be such a difficult event to judge. I mean, how do you choose between a Moroccan lamb, say, or a Peruvian ceviche?
Yeah, well, the judges always start with the previous year's winners. And so we figure that they've attained a certain right to be able to judge their peers. And then we add other notables from around the city, whether they are restaurateurs or chefs in their own right, or sometimes journalists. We've had folks that have represented the Washington Post, the Wall Street Journal, CBS Radio, and the Ronald Reagan building, of course. And yeah, it's a tough job. I'm glad I don't have to do it, but I think that they're in a unique position to figure out, among the presentation and the flavors and the pairings and everything, what comes off as the best made dish.
Okay, so the judges have a difficult job, we said, but what is the actual criteria? What do these chefs have to, how are they judged in terms of criteria?
Sure, yeah, the criteria are fairly simple. Taste, as you would imagine, presentation, and then pairings.
This is a really nice piece of lamb. Yeah. This is all about the quality of the lamb. Beautiful. It's just a little overwhelming. You have to, do your tastes and make an assessment and decide really quickly what you think of the dish, and they're all so worthy.
How do you judge kimchi versus Russian duck?
Now, I actually got to host this event when it first started back in the earlier days, and I had so much fun. I mean, this event is near and dear to my heart, but what I think I loved was seeing how all of the chefs are so competitive, and they only cared about the bragging rights.
Yeah.
That was what mattered to them.
Yeah, it's a lot like the World Cup. Everyone wants their country to have bragging rights. So while there's a lot of mutual respect and camaraderie up there, everyone wants to win, and they start talking smack even that night while they're holding the trophies.
Yeah, I remember I asked the chef from Hungary, I said, what do you think's more stressful, cooking for 500 plus, in one night and having to represent your country, or cooking for your ambassador? And he said, oh, cooking for all these people. I mean, the pressure was on, so.
Absolutely, and we asked them to make no less than 600 samples for the crowd, because we usually have between 1,200 and 2,000 attendees. So they have to make quite a bit. And you're right, being able to control taste and flavor and presentation with that many pieces is another kind of layer of complexity.
So who would you say were some of your personal favorites?
I like Ghana. They have a soup that is to die for. The lamb jollof rice is fantastic. The first time I saw the Philippines, they had a black rice, which looks really amazing. I wasn't quite certain whether I wanted to eat it or not, but once I tasted it, it was fantastic. So there's so many different things to experience there. And if you like food or you're adventurous in any way, you should really come out and experience this.
Now more than ever, it does seem like we need to have cultural diversity, inclusion, and really sort of, this is a very educational and informative event as well.
It's fantastic, and I learn something new every year, even being involved as an organizer. My takeaway this year was that Moldovan wines are really, really good, and I learned a lot by doing an interview show with one of the chefs from Moldova about their wines. But every year I learn something new about another country, and I've had attendees come up to me and say, I'm planning my next international trip based on what I ate or drank here tonight, because I need to find out more about the country where this wonderful food and drink comes from.
I love that. It gives you inspiration of where you're going to travel around the world.
Absolutely.
I really do travel for food. Like, that is the main reason if I go anywhere. So what's next? What do you see for the future of the Embassy Chef Challenge?
Well, we want to make it bigger and better every year. We really do think this is a quintessential Washington, D.C. event that can't be had anyplace else in the country, and we want more and more people in and around the area to know. We'd love for people to come from New York and Philadelphia and Richmond and all over to witness this event and to experience our city while they're here. So bigger and better every year, more and more countries participating, so that you really can, take a trip around the world.
All right, all this talk about food is making me hungry, so I think it's time to go eat.
Let's do it.
All right, let's go. And thank you for watching Interview 360. We'll see you again next time.